So yesterday we learned about like the refutation of the first of the four different abhavas set by Nyayavadis. So the first one is Atyanta bhav, and the second one is Prag bhav, third is Pradvamsa bhav, and then the fourth is Anyonya bhav. So yesterday we learned about the first one, the first abhav, which is Atyanta bhav. And Sri Mahaprabhuji refutes the theory of Atyanta bhav by explaining that since Brahma is a material cause of this universe, each and every object in this jagat is produced out of Brahma's attribute. So this would mean that no object exists in this universe which is not produced out of Brahma's attribute. So just like Brahma is eternal, so are the objects which are produced out of him. So this would disprove the first abhav, meaning that since Brahma is in each and every object and is known as Sarvam Sarvamayam, then that would mean that essentially nothing can be absent, since Brahma can never be absent from anything in this jagat, as he himself has manifested himself into this jagat. And I think we also learned that, for example, we learned about the example of a pot. So if a pot or an object is not present in a room, it would not mean that the pot is not present to us based on our worldly experience or our visibility, but it does not mean that the pot is completely absent or that it is not present at all in the room. Since that would mean that since each and every object is part of Brahma, it would mean that there cannot be any absence of the object in the room. Even the emptiness of the pot remaining in the room is also a form of Brahma. And if Brahma wishes so, the pot can appear in the room by itself. So this is kind of explained through the stories in which Shri Krishna gave Arjun the sight in which he saw each and every person of this universe in Brahma's body, in Krishna's body during the battle of Kurukshetra, and how this can also be understood with the example of Prahlad, in which Bhagwan manifested in the form of the avatar of Narasimha to save Prahlad from the pillar. So the only reason, the reason behind Brahma concealing all these attributes is because that the Brahma wants to conceal its universality in order to create more lila and create more variety. But if Brahma wishes so, he can also re-manifest all of these different things.
Fine. So the main point which Mahaprabhuji wanted to explain here was that in the Atyanta bhav, total absence of any object in particular context of place is not possible, because each and every material in this universe is created out of Brahma. So technically, even the table is Brahma, even the chair is Brahma, and whatever we have around us, everything is Brahma. It is just not visible as Brahma because Bhagavan has controlled the potential of his different forms in the universe just for the sake of differences, because this universe is created for the Leela of Bhagavan. Bhagavan wants to enjoy this Leela. So if there is uniformity in everything, or for example if everything is Brahma, then Brahma can enjoy this. So as Bhagavan wants right here, Bhagavan hides some attributes, some particular object, and therefore that object is conformed into a particular form as any other form. So what you have to understand is that the potential, the voice is breaking. Is that fine now?
Yeah, a little bit better, Raja.
Fine. So what Mahaprabhuji wants to explain here is that each and every object in the universe is made out of Brahma, is form of Brahma, and therefore each and every object in the universe will have potential of being everything it wants to be. But the powers or the working of each and every object is confined with the wish of Bhagavan, as Bhagavan wants variety in his Leela. So for example, each and every object, if it would start working as Brahma, if it would have the potential to behave like everything, to have function like each and every other thing, Leela won't be possible. Everything will be like Brahma himself. So the power, the potential in each and every object is controlled by Brahma. It is not totally absent. And therefore, each and every object in this universe can behave like whatever it wants. As in the example of Gyaneshwar, we understood the example that he made the buffalo speak out the Ved. So generally it is not possible. But that potential, it is hidden in the buffalo, which can be revealed with the wish of Bhagavan. So whenever Bhagavan wants to reveal that power, it can be revealed in any of the object. So the concept of Atyanta Bhav is just about our visibility and whatever we see in the area of our experience. But if we try to understand it on the Brahmic level or on the level of Tattva, the element, the philosophical standard, then everything is present everywhere, because each and every object is the form of Brahma. So even table is everything, even the chair is everything. Powers or the functions are confined just for the sake of Leela. Any question regarding this? Okay. Start reading the next one.
Okay, so the refutation of Pragbhav and Pradvansabhav. Abhav. The absence of an object before its production is called its Pragbhav, whereas absence after the perishment of the object is called Pradvansabhav. The refutation of Pragbhav and Pradvansabhav can be easily understood with the help of the examples of water and vapor. When the water of the sea gets heat, it becomes vapor and evaporates, and it again rains in the form of water. From this, we can understand that when vapor was not produced, it was there in the form of water. So there is no pragbhav or vapor, as it already existed in the liquid form instead of gaseous form. Similarly, Brahma himself transforms into the different forms of the universe. Hence, until Brahma creates the universe, the existence of the universe remains in its causal form of Brahma, just as the existence of the vapor remains in the form of water. This shows that there can neither be Pragbhav of the universe, nor there be anything like Pradvansabhav. When the water vapor cools down, it turns into water and begins to rain. In this way, we have water transformed into vapor and vapor transformed into water. If the existence of water is destroyed when it turns into the vapor, wherefrom the rain comes. Thus, the existence of water does not come to an end. Only its transformation takes place. Similarly, when Brahma wishes to wind up this Leela, the universe again mingles into Brahma. But it does not mean that the universe ceases to exist. This substantiates that the conception of a bhav advanced in the Nyaya theory is proved baseless in the matter of relation between Brahma and the universe. So this is giving the refutation of Pragbhav and Pradvansabhav. So Pragbhav is referring to the absence of an object before the object is produced or destroyed, and Pradvansabhav refers to the absence after the destruction of an object. So here it gives the refutation. So here we can understand like the refutation of these two like theories. And so here it gives example of water. So whenever like water heats up, it turns into water vapor, and whenever it gets cooled, it will turn back into water. So this shows that the qualities of water vapor were not created; they already existed within the liquid form of water. So in the same way, in relation to Brahma, Brahma himself has created this universe by transforming himself into the different names and forms. So until like Brahma manifests this universe, the universe like remains in the causal form of Brahma. Like since Brahma and the universe are the same, then that would mean that the universe was not created; it already existed within Brahma. So now it gives like the refutation of Pradvansabhav. So in the example of water, when water vapor gets cooled down, it turns into water, into rain, which falls down on earth, like water, and then essentially forms water. So according to Pradvansabhav, if an object is destroyed, then it would mean that because in Pradvansabhav they believe in the destruction of an object, but if the water vapor gets destroyed, then it will not be able to turn back into water. So this will like disprove the theory of Pradvansabhav. So in relation to Brahma, whenever like Brahma decides like this Leela, like his Leela is over, the universe will like go back to him. But since Brahma and universe are one, it does not mean that the universe will cease to exist. It will simply mean that the universe is re-emerging with Brahma.
So the main point is that as we understood about energy, that energy can never be created and energy can never be destroyed. It can just be changed into one form from another. So the same thing is about here also. As energy is eternal, same way in the philosophy of Brahmavad as per Mahaprabhuji, Brahma is eternal, and therefore each and every name, form and function of Brahma are also eternal. Pradbhav means the absence of any object before it is created. For example, I am creating the pot now. So before this particular moment, that pot was not at all present. So it was the absolute absence of pot before it was created, and the Pradvansha Bhava is mean at the absolute absence of the object after it has been destroyed. So what Mahaprabhuji wants to say is that even this is not possible in Brahmavad, because Brahma himself has been manifested into each and every form of the universe. So whichever form Brahma wants to choose, he can manifest himself in that form. And whenever Bhagavan wants to conceal that form, Bhagavan will stop making it visible in front of us. As the example of water and water vapor is given here, that before the creation of the water vapor was present in the form of water, in its liquid form. Same way, for example, after the water vapor is destroyed, again it has been manifested in the form of the rain, in the same water. So, as in the example of water, only the stages changes. It means from the gaseous, a material is becoming a liquid. From the liquid, sometimes if we freeze it, it will be becoming the solid one, the ice. And again, it can be melted and it will be the water. So in this example, as it changes its form from liquid, gaseous to solid, and same way in between the different forms, same way in the universe, each and every object is created out of Brahma. Brahma is the cause of each and every object. So whatever we have, it can be transformed into one form from another. It cannot be absent. It cannot be totally absent. So not even before the creation anything is having its absence, and not even after the destruction we can ever say that this material or this object is absolutely absent, because it is available in its causal form, if not in the effect form. So only the modes or the forms are changing, not the object. Object remains the same. And ultimately, as Brahma is the cause for everything, everything will be existing in the form of the Brahma, not in the form of an effect. Anyone else can explain this other than the one who is presenting? Anyone else?
I can explain.
Yes, all of you may explain. Turn back.
So you said that just like energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but can simply transform from one object to another. And Brahma also can never be absent in the universe, but he can only be revealed or concealed. So because Brahma manifests himself into each and every object and uses his Sat attribute to reveal all objects that we see around us, nothing can be destroyed, and the materials can simply transform into different stages. Like you gave the example of water and the water vapor. So when the water is heated, it turns into the vapor, and once the vapor is cooled, it turns back into the liquid form. So just like how the water simply transforms its stages from the liquid to the gaseous form, Brahma also changes his material form into the effect through the process of revelation and concealment. He can never be destroyed. So before the production of an object, the effect exists in the form of the material. So before the universe existed, it existed in the form of Brahma, and once Brahma produced the universe, it became the effect like we see it now. It never becomes destroyed. It simply becomes it only becomes revealed and concealed.
Yes. So before the creation of this universe was existing in its causal form. And when Bhagavan decides to manifest it, the universe is existing in the form of an effect. So as even now we know that kinetic energy, and there are many varieties of energy. So all these are continuously changing its form. We can change the form. For example, the energy of the heat can be converted, can be formed as electrical energy. The energy in the form of the electrical energy can be changed into some other form, and the same process goes on. So this means that we can change the forms even in the world. We can change the states, we can change the stages. So same way, the universe and the objects which are existing in the universe, even they change the form, they change the stages, they are not totally absent. We cannot find any sort of absolute absence of any object in this universe, even before it is created and even after it is destroyed. Fine. Anyone else wants to summarize this?
Yeah, I mean, I had similar thoughts to what Sanvi was saying, but just continuing off of the idea that science proves that energy cannot be destroyed nor created, we know that Brahma is the same. He can't be created or destroyed. And since everything in this universe is Brahm, nothing in this universe, no material, no object, can be fully absent because Brahm cannot be fully absent. And then also, they were saying that because Brahm is the ultimate power, he can conceal or unconceal everything, and as you just mentioned, nothing, there was no absence before it was created or after it was created. It's simply concealment or unconcealment, like Dhirubhav or Avirbhav. So that's just kind of what I want to say, but those were points that you guys all hit on too.
Great. Anyone else? Sanvi, were you able to understand the topic? Riya, Sanvi?
Yeah, I understood.
Okay.
Ji Raja, I understand.
Fine. Okay, continue with the next one.
Yeah. Interpretation of Anyonya Bhav. Nyayavadis believe that Anyonya Bhav in objects is the reason of the existence of every object that appear different from one another. The absence of one thing that remains in another thing is called Anyonya Bhav. If Anyonya Bhav is not accepted, how can the explanation of the mutual difference that has remained in the objects of the universe be given? Again, if Anyonya Bhav is not accepted, the questions such as why does the pot not do the function of covering up the body, i.e., why does it not do the function of the cloth, then why does the cloth not do the function of storing water? Why doesn't it do the function of a pot? Do arise. Some problems such as these were confronting the Nyayavadis. The solution of these problems has been given in the Upanishads in a very simple way. Brahma performs all the work through his two powers, which are 1. Avirbhav, manifestation, and 2. Atirobhav, which means concealment. When Brahma does the work of creation, he holds all the forms with a result. I may become manifold forms. According to what we have seen in the example of an actor, Brahma hides all other forms except those that he wishes to manifest. This is the very reason why all the objects in the universe, even though they are Brahmatma, evolved out of Brahma, are mutually different from one another and are not able to perform the function of one another. As Bhagavan conceals the functions of all of them, and only reveals those functions which are necessary for their role. All objects get confined into specific functions even after being the manifestation of omnipresent Brahma. As we've seen before, Brahma manifests the creation through his Avirbhav and Tirobhav powers. We've already explained the form of Brahma's power of Tirobhav in refutation of Nyayavadi's doctrinal Bhav. Now we shall try to understand Brahma's power of Avirbhav. So here is refuting the theory of Anyonya Bhav. So Anyonya Bhav states that an object retaining its own original identity, it cannot switch identities with another object. So this would mean like a cloth cannot be a pot. A pot cannot perform the function of a cloth, and a cloth cannot perform the function of being a pot. Each of these objects have their own separate identities. So if we don't accept this theory, there's a couple of questions that arise if you don't accept it. So here Sri Mahaprabhuji negates this theory by giving by saying what the Upanishad state. So instead of abhavas, we believe in Avirbhav and Tirobhav, which is manifestation and concealment. So we've also previously learned that Brahma himself has manifested himself into the different names and forms, and corresponding to each role he performs, he creates or manifests specific characteristics corresponding to each form. So this is why, even though everything is created at Brahma, they hold their own separate identity, and hence negates the theory of Anyonya Bhav.
So the word Anyonya Bhav means the abhav of anya in the anya. Anya will mean the other one. So the pot cannot be a table and table cannot be a pot. This is Anyonya Bhav. Absence of pot in the table and absence of table in the pot. This is known as Anyonya Bhav. This is again negated on the basis of Brahmavad, that according to us, each and every form, name and function of this universe is created out of Brahma. Brahma is the cause of each and every object, each and every form, each and every name, and each and every function. Now, as Brahma has manifested into all these forms, Brahma wants to enjoy his play, and therefore he wants varieties, and therefore he has confined some of his forms. For example, take the example of an actor. It is quite easy to understand then. For example, I am an actor. I'm asked to play a role of a villain in a particular movie. So, in my role of a villain, I will be hiding all my good attributes, good characters, and will be showing all the bad characters in me. And when I am playing the role of a villain, I will be completely in that role and would never behave like anything else. So I will be a bad personality. For example, that same actor is given a role of a hero in the second movie. He will be showing all the good characters in himself and he will be hiding all the bad attributes or the bad uh, behavior he had done in the form of a villain. So it means that that actor has the potential to behave like an actor also, I mean to show the attributes of an actor, hero also, and again he has the potential to show the attributes of a villain also. So this means that all the sort of attributes to act in any of the form is present in an actor, but he will be revealing some of his attributes as per the role he has been given. I don't know if you people are aware about this or not, but in Gujarat we have a tradition of stage form of Ekangi Natak, in which a same person, a single person will be playing the role of everything which will be the part of the play. So for example, in the play, if we want a bird, he will be speaking out like a bird. He will be creating the sound like a bird. The second moment, if he is trying to behave like a girl, he will be making his voice like a girl. He will be speaking from the side of the girl. When he wants to respond the girl from the side of the boy, the same actor will be responding to the girl with the voice and attributes of the boy. So, a same actor will be playing the role of all the roles which are expected in the play. This is how Brahma behaves in this universe. Brahma is only one actor, Brahma is only one entity in this universe, and he is playing the different roles. My role, your role, the role of a table, the role of a bed, the role of a mobile phone, the role of a book, and whatever we have around us. So consider these as different roles, not as different objects. So whenever Bhagavan wants to play the role of a particular form, for example, when that actor in the Ekangi Natak wants to behave like a bird, he will be producing the sound of the bird. And when he wants to behave like a male, he would be producing the sound of the male. So the same person is playing the role of all the objects or all sorts of roles which are expected to play. So there is no sort of anyonya bhav. It means when I want to play the role of a villain, I am hiding the attributes of being a hero. When I want to play the role of hero, I will be hiding all the attributes of being a villain. So the concealment of an attribute or concealment of any potential doesn't mean that that potential is totally absent. Same way, when I am showing off only one attribute in myself, it doesn't mean that all the other attributes are totally absent in me. So this is how Mahaprabhu explains that there is no of anyonya bhav. He is in the form of the pot also, and as well he is in the form of table or the chair also. Okay, just wait for a moment. Yeah. So what Mahaprabhu wants to explain is that Brahma himself is manifesting in all the name, form and functions of this universe. Is it fine now?
Ji Raja.
Okay. Yeah. So Brahma himself is getting manifested in all the name, form and functions of the universe. So even the pot is a form of Brahma, even the chair is a form of Brahma. So technically, philosophically, even the pot has all the potentialities like the actor, that a person can behave or can be acting like a villain also and like a hero. So as he has the potential of being a hero and a villain or a god or whatever he wants to be like, same way, each and every object of this universe is philosophically, technically having potential to be everything it wants to be, as it is a form of Brahma himself. But Brahma conceals those powers or those potentials, those functions. Like the actor, while playing the role of the villain, he will be concealing all the other attributes in him, and he will be just revealing the attributes of being a villain. But the same actor can play the role of hero also. He can play the role of someone else also. So it means that he has the potential to be in any other role, but just for the sake of the movie, he is showing his attributes of villain. Same way in this universe, all the forms are of Brahma himself, but Brahma is revealing the potentials of each and every object as per the requirement, as per what is needed. And when it is done, when Bhagwan wants to conceal everything, he will be just absorbing everything in his own form. So technically, there is no sort of anyonya bhav in this universe. It is just for the sake of Leela that Bhagwan wants variety, and therefore he is concealing and revealing the attributes in the form of different name, form and functions of this universe. So this is how we don't accept any of the four abhav which are accepted in the Nyaya school of Vedanta, the Nyaya school of philosophy, as per the theory of Brahmavad. Let us conclude here today. Tomorrow, if you people have any question regarding any of these four abhav, the topic we understood, you can ask, otherwise we will move on.